Is AI killing consulting roles in 2025? I have done a lot of research, talked to a lot of consultants, BCG, McKinsey, and Bain. And also, I have gone through the stats of premier institutes like IM, ABC, and ISB. And here is the conclusion: no, AI is not at all killing consulting roles. Here is the truth: the way the consultants are operating is completely changed, or how they are operating has been shifted. Look at the trend from IM, ABC, and ISP. What you could see is since 2020, there is only increase in the percentage of hiring of these premium consultants. Interesting point to note is that since 2020, the number of students in these colleges, or the intake of number of students, also increased, and also the percentage of hiring these consultants also increased. It means that now more than before, more consultants are needed, or the demand for consultant roles has increased, and it has not decreased even with AI. Now let's see what's the difference that has happened on the way, the aspects of how AI has changed how consulting firms operate. I would say it's not just the AI, but it's also the competitive landscape that has changed. Earlier, the if you look at the consulting firms, there are three broad categories. The top tier, the strategic consulting firms, which basically tells or solves the problem like whether a company should enter into India or maybe China, or let's say they are launching a new product, what should its price be? Or let's say they are heavily reliant on metals, how should their strategy be, or how should they hedge their metals procuring strategy for next 5 years so that they don't get the burden or the pain of fluctuating prices? Well, these are some of the kind of problems that the top tier or the BCG kind of companies, BCG, McKinsey, Bain, MBBs of the world solve for. Then comes the middle layer, the management consulting roles. The management consulting roles are those kind of companies that solve for the big fours, basically, that solve for the execution, the operation challenges, or the management of the company kind of related issues. They don't get into they do get into mergers and acquisition, things like that, but the MBBs are the major players in terms of M&A strategy, taking big decisions. Then the management consultants, and then comes the boutique consultants, which offer like custom solutions in a very specific domain. Now, what has changed on how AI has tweaked the roles? If you see news, you will see like McKinsey had the total number of people in 2023, or the total number of resources in 2023 with McKinsey were 40 or 1000, 45 if I'm not wrong, but it has come down to 40,000 by the year 2024. And you would have seen news saying like consulting roles have dropped. But the reality is no, the premium consultants are still needed. It's the kind of low entry jobs that crunches data, or that does work that can be automated. These are the kind of roles that got replaced with AI and automation. And it's not just AI, it's also the automation that has changed the landscape of consultants and how they operate. Today, the kind of problems that consultants solve are also embedded with AI. Now, there are a lot of companies that have the expertise in their own domain, meaning, like if you take an example of an oil and gas company, now they are specialized in taking the crude oil and then refining and then making petrol diesel out of it, but they are not specialized in implementing AI. Now here is where a consultant comes in. He looks at trend, he has the world data, he has data about all the companies around the world and how they are operating and in what spaces they have used AI. Even if not, consultants are the first people who step into these kind of problems and then suggest based on the understanding historical data and experts in their respective field on where exactly you can implement AI and also make ROI out of it. Now, here is the interesting part. Now, for a company who specialized in oil and gas domain and for whom AI is completely alien, now here is where consultant comes in and gives suggestion on where and what on how to implement an AI. So the point that I want to drive is no, AI is not killing consulting roles. It's just replacing or restructuring of how people are working in consulting roles, also along with AI as a partner. And one other important thing to note is earlier the MBBs used to only strategize, and then the big fours used to be good at execution, and the boutique consulting firms used to do their bit of very domain specific things. But the clients have been demanding for more. Like the MBBs are not just expected to give only a 100-page deck. Now they are also asked to basically execute the plan that they are giving. They no longer they have this हवा में बात करके डेक बना के दे दिए भाई अब तुम कर लो. No, gone those days. Now MBBs are also being expected to implement the solutions. So like in case of BCG, they have BCGX or other divisions where they are specialized in actually implementation. And similarly, Big Fours, or there are other companies like Accenture as well, which also get into the execution part, and they are also into the consulting space. So the point that I want to say is both the worlds are coming closer. The people जो हवा में बात करते हैं वो नीचे आ रहे हैं, एंड जो खाली एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं वो ऊपर आ रहे हैं. So the three broad layers are basically mixing up, and AI has only speeded this process. It has accelerated on how things are working now. So if you want to know more insights on the kind of problems that these consultants solve, watch out for my next video. And in case you are a person who are transitioning to MBA or wanting to get out of MBA and get into these kind of roles, well, do check out our next video and also learn more from us with at Career Simplified.